Yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip. Hi, I'm Chris Lopez, and this is Adams State Football with head coach Levi Gallas, presented by RG Bank. We're live at the San Luis Valley Brewing Company here in downtown Alamosa. Coach, you're on the road again. Mesa State headed to Grand Junction.
Yeah, it's going to be a great opportunity just being able to, go over the mountains again and get into another great atmosphere. Grand Junction, that whole town really supports the Mesa's community, just does a great job showing up. They're going to have a great crowd. It's going to be a great opportunity for us.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Who do you got to your right, Coach?
Yeah, today I brought Jason Wade. He's one of our running backs. Came into us this last season or during the summertime. Super glad he's here and has done a phenomenal job continuing to progress each week.
Jason, another player too from the East Bay of California. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you, man. How's the transition from California to Colorado working for you so far?
It was tough at first. Definitely was tough at first, but I believe I can say I'm settled in now and getting the groove of things out here and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, let me ask you, because we're going to go back a little bit to the homecoming game with Chadron State, because I just wanted you to explain for us what happened in the first half.
Right.
When it looked to me anyway that the Grizzlies recovered a fumble in the end zone. You had 6 on the board, but then it got called back, and I never knew what happened.
Yeah, I think, it all started with Braden Biller, one of our players of the week for special teams. Did a great job putting the ball, out of position for the returner to be able to catch it. It then took a nice bounce in our favor. Funny shaped football, right? You never know which way it's going to go. Popped up and the returner tapped it, and then it proceeded to roll towards the end zone. Well, the rule, how it plays out, once the returner touches it, it becomes a live ball. In that scenario, the referee, we're all human. We're all human, and that's what we got to live with. Is he didn't see the touch, and so then the inadvertent whistle was blowing the ball dead. So if the returner doesn't touch the ball and it goes in the end zone, it automatically is dead. And so that's where you see him blow the whistle, throw the flag, because we just demolished the returner. And then it kind of played out that way. Well, because the inadvertent whistle in the rule of college football, you can't really challenge an inadvertent whistle.
Gotcha.
And so that's where I think the referees that are now coming from high school ranks up or from different Division III, NAI, they're starting to learn these rules and how they affect a game, especially with the inadvertent whistle. Because of replay, we have the ability to go back and make sure that the right call is being made. Sometimes they blow the whistle dead when they should just let it play out and then blow the whistle and then, all right, now let's sort it out. Well, couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting turn of events that was happening there in the first half, and again we saw with Chadron State, Coach, where you're able to force turnovers. You had a couple of turnovers in that first half. You're getting good field position. You actually do well moving the football.
We do.
On the first down, second down. I mean, you guys move the ball.
Right.
But then you stall or you have
stumble.
You stumble. And we saw that a few times in
and I think a lot of us being able to move the ball goes right through these guys. Our running backs, every week we had another running back, Gabe McFarland, who was Offensive Player of the Week. Wade was actually Offensive Player of the Week last week.
Right.
Those guys toting the rock are doing a phenomenal job. There's not always these big gaping holes for them to bust through and go get 60. They're pounding and pounding and pounding, and that's what's given us the ability to move the chains. But then, we continue to stumble. We have those moments in which, you're feeling anxious. You're feeling like, all right, we're going to punch this one in, and then something happens. And I think that's, again, just the youth of the team, the youth of the program right now, and learning from those situations. Because to be able to beat a great team, like Chadron, you've got to be able to execute at all levels, at all phases. And, we're unable to do that right now. But, we had another, as you can see, we just came from practice.
Right.
And so we're doing the right things in practice and getting a lot of those mistakes fixed. And, excited about another great opportunity this week.
And Jason, you are moving the football on offense. I mean, again, and you see some really nice runs. I mean, that offense has potential. Talk to us a little bit about what it's like to play in that offense as a running back.
I would say it's freedom with it. It's definitely some freedom with it, but it's not too hard at all. But the plays are there. It's a great scheme. It's a great scheme to be a running back in. But it's really up to us to really make those big plays and execute at a high level and stuff like that. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, you see the potential, Coach Jason. You see the potential of that offense in the scheme, and you have some nice gains. I mean, you've put out some big plays with some big yardage.
Yep.
Get down there inside the 20, and that's where you're stalling or you're having a couple of mistakes not getting into the end zone.
And it's funny you bring it up because I've had other head coaches calling me like, hey, you're moving the ball.
Yeah, I know. You're moving the ball.
What are you seeing? How are you guys doing this? Against some very great opponents. And I think that's what our guys are starting to realize too. And we're doing a great job of keeping it a team atmosphere. It's not offense versus defense by any means. We're doing some good things on defense. We're doing some good things on offense. We're the ones getting in our way. And once we finally get over that hump of understanding like, hey, we can do this every single play, that's when I think greatness is going to start to happen.
Well, and you can also feel, Coach, when you're down there on the sidelines or you're watching the Grizzlies, you can see the energy, the enthusiasm, the motivation. I mean, you see that sideline. I mean, you saw that on Chadron State.
Yep.
Big safety. You had 2 points there, but even on you see that sideline is geared up into the game.
Yep.
And so that the players are there, Jason. How are you seeing all this as a player as you work through this season?
It's a tough spot to be in right now, but I feel like we all know what we can do and what we can achieve. Yeah. And so it's kind of easy for us. Well, it's not easy, but it's, we're able to, be optimistic about it and, and think in the for the future and stuff like that. And just keep our spirits up and just be glad to be here, honestly.
Yeah, no, you do see that, Coach, because that's one of the things you start to watch for as you go through adversity as a team. And how do you feel the team, your coaching staff, you are handling the season, the adversity of the season, still wanting to get that first win? How do you feel you guys are handling all of that?
Yeah, I think with any adversity like this, a lot of times it brings on pressure. And within that pressure, you find moments in which people either, I've always used the analogy, pressure makes diamonds or it busts pipes. And so right now we're seeing those individuals who are truly becoming diamonds. Challenged the team a couple weeks ago about who really wants to get in the foxhole with us right now. And that's what we're starting to see is those guys that want to be a part of this, they're starting to shine. They're starting to come out because we know that they want it just as bad as this valley wants it. You can just sense it, the urgency of wanting to get this program in the right direction, and that's what's great. We're working with some great individuals. Great people.
You said, we talked, I saw you out there this morning, a Thursday morning practice before you head into Grand Junction. What is your travel schedule, your travel plan as you go into the weekend?
Yeah, so why we ended up practicing this morning and tomorrow morning is they're on fall break. So they're not going to classes, and we want to take the opportunity to just get out, nice weather, let's get a good practice in. That way we can come back, watch some film, clean some things up. With it being a night game over there in Grand Junction, we're choosing to go ahead and leave Saturday morning. We're going to break up the trip and being able to practice at one of the Western slope schools and get off the bus, you know, get a little trickle of sweat down the armpit, nothing too crazy, and gear up for a good night game.
That's a 6 o'clock kickoff at Stoker Stadium in Grand Junction. We're going to take a quick break here just to talk about RG Bank. RG Bank is excited to be the presenting sponsor of the Adams State football show with Coach Gallas. Like Grizzly football, RG Bank is a team. Whether it's personal banking, business needs, or support for your farm or ranch, the RG Bank team is here to help. Stop by one of their locations in Alamosa, Pagosa Springs, or Monte Vista, and let RG Bank team help you. Future begins today. RG Bank is a member of the FDIC, equal housing lender. Go Grizzlies. Coach Jason, another player from the East Bay, California, Diablo Valley. Jason, I lived in the East Bay for a decade or so I'm very familiar with where you're from. You have a pipeline there.
Yeah, so kind of how it all began is when I started coaching college football, I got the opportunity to start recruiting junior colleges, and I was placed in the Bay Area, San Francisco, working all the way up to Weed, California. I don't know if you know where that is. That's almost Oregon. And so I created a lot of good connections with those coaches. What's unique about junior college in California, a lot of those coaches don't go on and go to Division I's, go Division II's. A lot of them just get 10 years and stay at their institutions for a long time. So the coaches that I started recruiting are still the head coaches out there, and they're phenomenal people. I love the style of football that's played in the Bay Area as well as in North Cal. They're tough, they're gritty, they come from some smaller communities. They fit well with Adams State. And so when I first took this job, knowing that, you know, we had some numbers, that we had to get some more players, some more guys that we knew would be bought in, that's kind of one of the first places I look from the transfer side.
Yeah, it kind of feels for me like I'm back home coaching California when I see someone from Antioch High School, Diablo Valley Community College transfers, because I'm very familiar with the level of high school football and junior college football that happens in the East Bay. Jason, talk about that.
Yeah, it's rough. It's definitely a lot of talent out there, especially, you know, in that 925 region, Antioch, Oakley, Brentwood area. Definitely some guys out there. So just being around that, you know, in high school, I played against a ton of D1 guys, guys who ended up going to the league and stuff like that. So, you know, that competition there is always, you know, I feel like it was good for me, you know, just being exposed to that early in high school, you know, and then in junior college, you know, it's tough out there. Being in the basics, San Mateo, City College, stuff like that.
Some good ones, Laney,
tons of guys who end up playing, you know, at the next level. And so, you know, I think it really prepared me for this level, and it helped me out a lot.
You know what, and I'm getting a little bit off subject here, Coach, but when I was running the newspaper in the Bay Area, we put together an all-time list of high school athletes that came out of the Bay Area.
Did you have enough paper?
Oh my God, that list was incredible. I mean, the number, when you look at that, I mean, like, wow.
Yeah.
You look at the level of competition that comes out of where Jason's from. Do you see yourself staying there in terms of recruiting focus in that area of California?
I would say for transfers, yes. And the reason being is I think high school guys out of the California area, if they're not getting the big FBS offers, they're all going to junior college. It's kind of just the way of life out there. It's not the same here in Colorado, in which in Colorado we don't have any junior college football. And so a lot of times good talent's going Division II or good talent's going FCS. In California, if they're not getting the top ones, they're going junior college. And so you can go in there knowing you're still getting good high school players. It's not the same style of junior college that you see across the nation. And so I would say, with our reciprocity in California, you date back to when we were going to national championships and winning in the 90s. We had a lot of California guys on the rosters, NorCal especially, and so we're going to continue that. I think, you know, for those holes that we'll need to fill moving forward, we'll always look to that area.
Yeah, no, I like seeing that, like understanding that focus of yours. Jason, let me ask you, when you think of the season so far and the competition you faced in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. You saw UT Permian earlier. What's your takeaway so far of the conference you find yourself in?
It's a dogfight. I mean, it's some really good players out there, good teams, and I know it's a lot of these teams are very well coached, you know. So, you know, that bond, that pair of great talent and being well coached, it makes it kind of tough. But it's definitely not no easy route. It's definitely going to be a grind.
Yeah. Coach, give us some scouting report, if you will, of Mesa State as you go to Grand Junction.
Yeah, I think what's cool about Mesa right now is they're kind of unique, both offensively and defensively. Offensively, they're under center. You know, that's used to be anybody in the gun. Yeah, anybody in the gun, you're like, oh, all right, this is different. We got to talk about this. Now you're talking, even at the high school level, you don't see people under center very much. And so just kind of going through the different aspects of that in terms of reads, as well as structures of defense, of how we need to align and whatnot. I think it's going to be fun. They really try to control the clock, run the ball, and they do a really good job at it right now. And then defensively, similar in some aspects. They definitely dabble in multiplicity of being 3-4, you know, while also giving looks that might be 3-4, might be 4-2, might be 3-3 stack. It's kind of neat because the great thing for us offensively, we've seen it all. And so, you know, what we're expecting kind of about from the opponent, it's something that we've practiced already. It's not like reintroducing a new aspect. For defense, it's a little different.
Is there anything, Coach, on defense that you're looking improvement-wise as you go into Mesa State, thinking of last week, or just improvement overall? Are there any areas that you want to